South Florida, this is Headliners, only on CBS News Miami.
Hi there and welcome to Headliners. I'm Lauren Pastrana. The crisis in Haiti continues to grow. The state of emergency there is now being extended, and we're hearing that gangs attacked a police substation and a facility at the main seaport in Port-au-Prince. All of this as the U.S. State Department is updating members of Congress on the situation. CBS News Miami's Tanya Francois joins us with the latest.
What I keep hearing repeatedly, this is the worst it's ever been. They say they can't imagine the situation growing more dire, but are aware that it will. Tonight, Haitians and Haitian Americans are reluctant to do Zoom interviews and appear on camera because they fear for their safety. Meanwhile, there are growing concerns of migrants fleeing Haiti and heading here. The state of emergency is now extended for a month. Haiti's prime minister is still being prevented from entering the country by gangs, and an extended curfew is now in place in Haiti's capital city. Members of Congress were briefed this morning by the UN and the State Department. Congresswoman Sheila Sharflis-McCormick tells us the death toll in Haiti rivals
as many Haitian people as possible. Today on our briefing, one of the things that they mentioned were from January to now, there's been as many Haitian people who died as who have died in Gaza. But we're not hearing that.
I think for a lot of people seeing what is happening on the ground, I mean, if they could give their last to be able to help a relative at this particular moment come in, a lot of people would, because the situation has gotten so dire.
Vanessa Joseph is a South Florida immigration attorney. She warns the crisis could result in an influx of Haitians making their way to the United States. Between TPS, temporary protective status, and Biden's humanitarian parole program, she says upwards of 200,000 Haitians are already here, many of them in South Florida temporarily. With the conditions worsening in Haiti, sending them back is questionable.
At this time, we cannot agree that a mass deportation would make sense.
What we were told by the State Department was that the flight that was supposed to go to Haiti has not. So there hasn't been any flights going, but there should be a letter coming out where we would be asking for any deportations to Haiti to stop until Haiti becomes secure.
Congresswoman Sharflis-McCormick says she is calling for a halt to all Haitian deportations.
The United States has something to concern itself with. We have to figure out, if we're not going to address the root causes of migration, then we've got to figure out what the plan is for folks who are already here.
The Haitian Americans who are still in Haiti say as the sun sets, they fear more unrest. So tonight, they say they are armed and prepared to defend themselves if they have to. Meanwhile, my entire unedited interview with Congresswoman Sheila Sharflis-McCormick is on our website. Head to cbsmiami.com to view it. In the studios, Tanya Francois, CBS News, Miami.
Spring break is in full swing. Dozens of state officers, troopers, and drones are on South Beach. As CBS News Miami's Larry Seward reports, Governor Ron DeSantis promised all of it to support a police crackdown on spring break violence.
A couple from Winnipeg, Canada, hopped off their cruise ship, made a beeline for South Beach. In between, warning signs made them hesitant. Visitors hardly pictured this. Miami Beach Police ATV patrols backed up with enough state officers to flood Ocean Drive and the city's entertainment district, with more officers than you've ever seen on South Beach.
At first, we were a little bit apprehensive.
Nicole Merrick, her mom and kids left Central Canada's blizzard for South Beach, unaware of the storm brewing around them.
If you're committing crimes, causing havoc, you are going to pay the price. And we will hold you accountable, because that's what we do here.
Last year, gunfire killed 2 people in spring break crowds on Ocean Drive. This year's response, a zero-tolerance crackdown. Tuesday, Governor Ron DeSantis showed up promising reinforcement for city police. That includes Coast Guard, Fish and Wildlife officers, Florida Highway Patrol drones, and mobile command trucks. The city will share 24 of the state's quick response officers. DeSantis is also sending at least 60 troopers for Dade, Broward, and Volusia counties to share. What all did you notice?
Lots of police presence. Like, even when we were coming in, there was notified signs of DUI checkpoints, and walking out to the beach, there are notified areas of checkpoints and lots of cars and marked vehicles and lights and things that you would see, but nothing uncomfortable.
This group of moms from Cincinnati felt good about the show of force. Merrick did too when police explained their presence.
Probably makes me more likely to come back, to be honest.
because we're from a smaller community, and so to come to a big community like Miami, to know that there's a big police presence, everybody's live to whatever issues might be there, would make us more likely to come back.
While some businesses worry about other tourists staying away, DeSantis says his focus is on safety.
Governor Ron DeSantis said state troopers, they're going to help run license plate readers around the island to catch and arrest people with warrants. On South Beach, Larry Seward, CBS News, Miami.
Should recreational marijuana be on the November ballot? That legal question is now before the Florida Supreme Court. It could rule very soon, and because of that, CBS News Miami's Chelsea Jones spent time digging into the financial impact medical marijuana currently has on the state. Here's some of what she found out and what voters think about the possibility of a law opening up the door to the drug's use.
When you look at this, you see weed. When Stephen Vancour does, he sees medicine.
In her final days, when she was in extreme pain and having extreme spasms from tumors throughout her midsection, the cannabis allowed her to calm down, to get a little bit of numbness in there, to allow the opioids that she was prescribed to take effect.
His former partner had cancer. Medicinal marijuana, he says, made her last days bearable. I sat with him at the True Leave in Miami Beach. The company supports the Safe Smart Florida initiative, pushing for recreational use of marijuana in the state. The Florida Supreme Court has until April to decide if it will be put on the November ballot. If it is put on the ballot and it passes, it would allow those 21 and up to possess and use marijuana legally. Naturally, though, not everyone is certain they want a law like that passed.
I'm somewhere in the middle now.
I think medically, yeah, absolutely.
But recreationally?
Recreationally, I'm kind of on the fence.
So you would advise Florida not to do it?
Absolutely not.
Then you have those who think it should be legal.
Well, I think it, like anything, it can be helpful used in the right way, and it can also be harmful used in the wrong way. So there has to be some regulation, but I don't feel it should be illegal.
And then there are those who say they need it.
You know, it helps me cope with a lot of things like anxiety, stress. Like sometimes I have trouble sleeping and eating. It also helps with that.
That's what Dr. Jay Ellenby says he sees and prescribes often.
By far, the two most prevalent conditions are number one, chronic pain, and number two, stress, anxiety with associated problems with sleep, depression, focus, concentration.
BDSA is a cannabis data company that tracks the revenue of licensed dispensaries. Just this year, medical marijuana sales in Florida is over $2.8 billion. If the recreational use law clears the Supreme Court and 60% of voters in November, the company projects recreational sales alone will be over $870 million. This 2023 report from the state shows it makes no sales tax money off of medical marijuana. But if recreational use becomes legal, the state stands to make over $195 million a year in state and local tax revenues. But it also makes clear it's unknown how the state would allocate that money. What is clear, as Stephen Vancour explains, this new market would have to be regulated.
You see people lacing cannabis with meth, with ketamine, with fentanyl, and people are dying from these things. When you go to an adult use market, it's going to be a regulated market. And in every state that does this, every product is third-party lab tested for purity and safety.
Then you'd be able to buy it at a facility kind of like this. There is a wide array of products here, but before they make it all the way here to Miami Beach, the actual marijuana is grown in a facility just north of here, somewhere in Florida. The state crunched the numbers of what it would cost to create and maintain a structure for recreational marijuana use in the state. It found annually it would cost $11.4 million to regulate it and roughly $9 million for initial costs. If passed, Vancour says the marijuana will be safe.
And it can be used safely, especially when it's regulated.
It is important to note while the state does not collect tax on medical marijuana, it does collect licensing fees. The original $60,000 fee for a 2-year license is expected to go up to $1.3 million. And I want you to take a look at how the numbers break down at that $60,000 price tag. The CBS News data team did some digging and found licenses have increased every year since 2022, with earnings rising from nearly $12 million then to an estimated $18.5 million to be made this year in 2024. So where is that money going? We're working to find out, and we will keep you updated. In the studio, I'm Chelsea Jones, CBS News, Miami.
When we come back, see what you need to know to protect your home against termites and how to stop the costly damages that come from it.
From South Florida, this is Headliners, only on CBS News Miami.
Welcome back. I'm Lauren Pastrana. Coyote Concerns, an unwanted visitor spotted in a South Florida neighborhood. Residents say they're worried for their safety and the safety of their pets. CBS News Miami's Joan Murray is in East Fort Lauderdale with tips on how to protect yourself and your property.
This coyote was spotted on the banks of the Middle River on the Wilton Manor side over the weekend. The man who spotted the coyote tells me that he wanted everyone to know that coyotes are not just in West Broward.
Yeah, and now they're having all these.
Stephen Jacobson knew something was up when his dogs caught sight of this big furry animal Sunday across the Middle River.
And then I saw him again on that bank, and he came back on the dock, and then he went back into the brush again. And that's the parking lot of the Egg and U, which is right on Federal Highway, and around the corner is this 26th Street Bridge.
Jacobson lives close to Federal Highway, East Fort Lauderdale, a couple miles from the ocean. It's a heavily populated residential neighborhood, so he was surprised to see a coyote.
There's a lot of small animals, and I just thought it was unusual, but, you know.
Did you call police or animal control?
I did. I called Wilton Manor's the non-emergency line.
Yes.
Just to let them know, and they said they've seen a lot of sightings.
To discourage coyotes from your home, the Florida Fish and Wildlife Conservation Commission said secure your trash, feed your pets inside, clean your grills, and pick up any fruit on the ground in your yard. Coyotes are adaptable and prefer open spaces to feed. The FWC says only call them if the coyote is acting aggressively. Stephen Jacobson posted this video on Nextdoor so his neighbors would keep an eye out on their small dogs and cats.
If they could catch the animal, the coyote, and bring them out to, you know, the Everglades or something, but, you know, I don't want anything to happen to the animal.
So if you spot a coyote in your backyard, make a loud noise, wave your arms, even squirt a hose to shoo it away. FWC recommends that you keep your cats in at night. If you're walking your dog, keep it on a short leash. And above all, keep food out of your backyard and feed your pets indoors. In East Fort Lauderdale, Joan Murray, CBS News, Miami.
Termite season is here, and if you don't know what to look for, that could mean the need for costly repairs. According to Forbes magazine, the average cost of termite repair for a home is around $3,000, and that's after treatment. However, it can go as high as $20,000. As CBS News Miami's Anna McAllister tells us, fumigating your home will not take care of all kinds of termites.
For homeowners in South Florida, it's not a matter of if you get termites, but when. But if you act fast, you can get rid of these creepy pests quickly. Ilana Colhagen and her family have lived in South Florida for a decade, but about once a year, they get some unwanted visitors. Termites.
It's gross.
Colhagen was sitting in her living room with her family when she saw a group of them flying around her ceiling lights and little pellets around her home.
Nobody wants to have any, insects living in their house.
Thousands of Floridians will deal with termites this year, but there are 3 species that really wreak havoc in the Sunshine State.
The primarily big pests are going to be the West Indian drywood termite. The 2 other termite species that are more concerning because of the potential for damage, it's the Formosan subterranean termite and the Asian subterranean termite.
Dr. Thomas Shavank is an urban entomologist who studies termites for a living. Shavank explains that drywood termites nest inside the wood they're infesting, while subterranean termites nest underground. Subterranean termites can be harder to spot, and they can create significant damage within a short amount of time.
We're talking about up to 300 to 600 pounds of wood consumed within a year.
Unfortunately for Colhagen, she had both drywood and subterranean termites in her home. So she called this guy, Rick Pellegrini, owner of AAA Assassin Enterprises Pest Control.
We service roaches, ants, spiders, termites, rodents,
Pellegrini took care of all of Colhagen's termites, tenting her house for the drywood termites, but using a different method for those underground.
They're subterranean. It's a totally different treatment. We have to inject the ground with Termidor up under the whole house, all the way around the house, and put a chemical barrier up under the house.
Colhagen says her property is clear of termites, but recommends all homeowners get the opinion of a professional when dealing with persistent pests.
Education is key in anything, so better to ask than be left with the unknown.
Pellegrini says the busiest time for termites is April through June, so now is the time to start checking and preparing your home. For now, reporting from Hollywood, Anna McAllister, CBS News, Miami.
When we come back, changing the game, see how college women's basketball star Caitlyn Clark is making history.
From South Florida, this is Headliners, only on CBS News Miami.
Welcome back. I'm Lauren Pastrana. Affordable housing is coming to West Perrine, and for many, it's making all the difference. Tucker Tower recently held its grand opening, and Miami Heat legend Alonzo Mourning was there to welcome the new residents. CBS News Miami's Joe Gorcho was there for the big moment.
2, 1. Some much-needed relief tonight to South Florida's affordable housing crisis, a new senior affordable housing community in West Perrine.
It's truly about improving humanity, our community here.
Miami Heat legend and Pro Basketball Hall of Famer Alonzo Mourning embraces this hometown mission.
We got a 90,000 shortage of affordable homes.
Right here in Miami-Dade County, his nonprofit, AM Affordable Housing, teamed up with the county and the Housing Trust Group to create Tucker Tower. Its 120 units provide affordable rents for seniors 62 and older.
You know, every time we develop one of these, we know that we're tackling these statistics.
Rents range from as low as $460 a month to just over $1,300. And behind each number is a thankful resident.
Check this out. This is my favorite part.
Georgina Millay shows off her views from her balcony. 6 months ago, she had no idea how she could afford to live in Miami.
I was dead inside. I just laid in my bed worrying at night. Emotionally, very damaging for me, for my health.
Millay was diagnosed with breast cancer and is still undergoing treatment. The 66-year-old told us she had to retire to focus on her health while trying to find somewhere to live. What was your budget?
My budget was $1,500, and that included everything. How was I going to pay for food? How was I going to live?
And take care of her loyal, precious companion, Lucy.
And she wouldn't get off the bed to go eat or do anything because she knew I was sick.
Now the two live in an affordable housing senior community with a pool, stove, washer and dryer, and many more amenities.
But forget about being in a 5-star. I could afford it. My stress level has gone down.
So she can fully focus on her recovery with the security of housing affordability.
People's rents have gone up 50% or more. If they can't, they'll either be living in a car or on a couch or on the street or in a shelter, or they're leaving. And that is hurting all of us.
Mayor Daniela Levine-Cava says creating affordable housing is a priority, with 65 county-related projects in the works that will create over 8,400 units in Miami-Dade County in the near future. Joe Gorcho, CBS News Miami.
There's a new all-time scoring leader in college hoops, and a woman now holds the title, a feat that's been recognized by NBA star LeBron James, sports brand Nike, and even President Joe Biden. But it's the young players of the future who are truly in awe of Caitlyn Clark.
For college basketball history.
Caitlyn Clark now stands alone as the all-time scorer in NCAA Division I college basketball for men and women.
Clark.
The Iowa Hawkeyes guard netted 35 points Sunday. She began the game 18 points shy of the record set by Pete Maravich in 3 seasons at Louisiana State University in the late 60s. Clark, a 22-year-old senior, averages 32 points a game and makes long-range shots look easy.
Stay at the top. We're just going to go three.
Henry McNabb is the head girls basketball coach at Blanche Ely High School in Pompano Beach. He says Caitlyn Clark is an inspiration to his players.
She's a phenomenal player. I don't think any
body on the earth right now, whether they like basketball or not, have not heard of Caitlyn Clark. In the mold of Steph Curry, so as soon as she walks into the gym, she's in range.
I think she's a great role model to younger players. She's done a really great job setting an example.
Like Clark, Janessa Kelly also plays guard. She and her teammates believe Clark is changing the game.
It really speaks volumes about women's basketball. I feel like her setting that record really helped a lot of people view women's basketball a lot more and not really undermine us.
Her game is just amazing, especially right now at this point in women's basketball. She's one of the just people that are being very recognized because of how she plays. Not like people would say a typical girl plays. And how deep she's shooting it, it's like that's pro range, and she's shooting at a high clip, so she's playing very well.
Clark's college career is almost over. She is already declared for the 2024 WNBA draft on April 15th.
The fact that a woman owns that record kind of speaks in value. And like I said, I think people are starting to notice that the girls' basketball and women's basketball as a brand is really, really good basketball.
Clark is projected to be the #1 overall pick in the draft by the Indiana Fever. Good luck to her. Thanks for joining us this half hour on Headliners. As always, keep it right here to CBS News Miami for up-to-the-minute breaking news and weather 24 hours a day. Make it a great one.